And China is influencing not just Nepal's relationship with India, but also its ties with America. At the center of this rift is an MCC grant. MCC stands for the Millennium Challenge Corporation. This is a very interesting story. This grant is worth $500 million. It was agreed upon in the year 2017. The grant stirred trouble in Prime Minister Oli's Nepal Communist Party. Some members of his party do not want the government to approve this grant. Why? Because they say the grant will dampen Nepal's blooming ties with China. That fragile is it? Let me tell you a little more about this MCC grant. The money is meant to be spent on two projects. One is a power transmission line. The second is for road upgradation. The United States, according to this agreement, will pay $500 million. Nepal will have to chip in $130 million. Moral of the story, Nepal will sacrifice infrastructure development just to please China. Some members of the ruling party believe that accepting the MCC grant, and listen to this, accepting a grant from the US would undermine Nepal's sovereignty. So here's my question to them. What were they thinking in 2017? The then government. Why did Nepal sign up for China's Belt and Road project? That is when Nepal pretty much dished out its sovereignty to China. And China has only made inroads since. So much so that China can now influence Nepal to deny developmental aid from America. What will it dictate next? Bilateral relations, perhaps. Nepal is moving away from the US and from India. Not just moving away, also souring ties. This is exactly what China wants, some say. Its plan, in fact, is falling into place. Let me explain this. Xi Jinping visited Nepal last year, just after he came to India. And he pledged a $500 million aid. The idea was to counter the American aid, which is also for $500 million. Fast forward to 2020, Nepal's ties with India hitting rock bottom and Nepal's ties with the United States at stake. Does the government of Nepal not see this? It does. It is complicit in this capitulation. Prime Minister Oli's foreign policy is tilted towards China. There are no secrets there. The previous governments tried to strike a balance. Oli wants none of that. His leanings are clear and they're out in the open. But can Nepal afford this? The answer is no. Its economy is in danger, courtesy the Wuhan virus. There's been a dip in remittances. Tourist dollars have dried up. In times like these, the last thing you want to do is put all your eggs in one basket. But Nepal is doing exactly that. It's a disastrous move, steered by a dangerous ally. How much does Oli even understand China's functioning? Consider this. Before Xi Jinping's visit to Nepal last year, Nepalese leaders attended a training program. What were they being trained for? On the Chinese president's thinking. This was an induction session of sorts. You see, there are fundamental differences between Nepal and China. Their constitutions do not match. Their political orientations do not match. Nepal is burning bridges with democratic nations to move into the orbit of an authoritarian regime. Prime Minister Oli is mistaken if he thinks that he can trust China. The dragon schemes everyone. It has not even spared its iron brother Pakistan. China stole power worth $630 million from Pakistan through the Belt and Road infra projects. Why does Prime Minister Oli think Nepal will be an exception? Here's my suggestion. It may not be too late to make amends.